In the first place, in Whitman, the way that we structure unit trust portfolio for the client is different from most of the unit trust consultant or even most of the banker out there. Why do I say that? Because the Whitman's DNA is a financial planning company. We started this company helping the client to produce financial plan to make sure that they have got enough money to retire comfortably when they are 55 or 60 years old and last up to 85 years old. So for that matter, as part of our advice, we need to make sure the client can save, can accumulate their asset, in a high certainty manner to support our financial plan. Okay, so with the kind of background, Whitman, when we advise a client to invest in unit trust fund, we do not teach the idea about what is this super fund to buy in, or whether this is an exotic new fund or next generation technology portfolio to buy from. We do not do that, because the portfolio that we design for the client, as I mentioned just now, is a portfolio that we want to make sure that it is safe, it can grow to beat inflation, okay, and it does not have too much volatility, okay, and it's sustainable over 20, 30, 50 years of client's life. So for that matter, if you ask me what is our success story, if you talk about high return, 20%, 30% return, I can tell you we never start aiming with that kind of return, and of course we never deliver that kind of return to the client at all. What our client have been getting for investing for the past 5-10 years with Whitman is to get a return ranging between 6 to 9% return. When market is good, the return can go to about 9 or even 10%. But when the market is bad, the return can go down, to 6% or even 5%. So, but importantly is that this is money which is sustainable investment that can continue to grow. Okay, so for a client who invested maybe 1 million in the beginning, assuming that he does not top up additional investment, over maybe 10 years, 15 years, his 1 million become 3 million, 4 million for him to retire comfortably. So that is the kind of experience our client get. Not so much surprise, not so much shocks coming from Whitman's investment recommendation. Whitman is a licensed financial planner. Okay, and what we actually do is to give advice to the client as to, say for example, in the case of financial planning, we have the client to construct a financial plan. Okay, and as far as investment is concerned, we help the client to build a portfolio of globally diversified unit trust funds, say for example. Now, our role is to do the research, to select the fund for the client, to monitor the performance of the client, and to suggest necessary action to take corrective action, okay, when market drop or market go high. Now, that is our role. Now, in our capacity of being an advisor alone only, we do not hold any client's money. Say for example, if a client were to invest 1 million into a portfolio, the money of 1 million will be transferred to iFast platform, and iFast platform, for example, will distribute the money to maybe fund house A, fund house B, fund house C, and fund house D. So the money of this 1 million will eventually rest at the trustee of each fund house. So it never go into my account, never get on my account. So for that matter, Whitman do not need to have a third-party structure to ensure the safety of a client's money, because in the first place, we never get to smell the client money in the first place. I would say this is a very common question for most investors. Okay, in the first place, for most investors, the sale charge is very important, because if you are charged a high sale charge, then maybe within 1 year or 2 years, you may not even to break even to get your capital back. So that's why in Whitman, we make sure that whatever sale charge we charge is much lower than the 5.5% in the market. Okay, so that's one thing, to make sure that client can actually break even faster. Okay, so for that matter, I would say if a client were to invest into 3 to 5 years period, okay, to get a return that will be able to come with a lower volatility and at the same time be able to beat inflation, it is something possible. Okay, but to be very truthful, many investors of Whitman who invest in Whitman's portfolio, they invest for the longer period of like 10, 15, 20 years. So for that matter, the compounded return really does its magic to really build a substantial amount of retirement fund for them to retire comfortably. But I know most people feel very boring when you hear 10 years, 15, 20 years. But that is the truth. That is the real time horizon for many of us. You know, even though you are in 50, your time horizon also still be 30 or 40 years, because you're going to live for the next 30 years, and for the next 30 years you got to continue to manage your retirement asset or your investment asset to give you income to support your retirement lifestyle. So that is how long your retirement or your investment time horizon. Like, why am I so easily contented with such a low return in the eyes of many investors? Maybe I should share, you know, that from our many years of experience, maybe done for thousands of clients of the financial plan, we find that most Malaysian middle class, if they are able to save and able to get a compounded return about 7 to 9% return for their liquid asset, most of them will be able to retire comfortably, achieve almost all the reasonable financial goals, and live happily ever already. You know. So for that matter, if I know this is the truth, why should I stress myself? Why should I stress my client to aim for 15-20% return? Because the fact that I know that 7% or 8% will be enough to do the job, I tell them the truth, they agree with me, then we both start on the journey, which is, I would say, less challenging, less difficult, you know, and less stressful for all of us. So I think that's the reason why many clients stay with us quite long and eventually grow old together with me, you know, because it is something which is more bearable, more comfortable, rather than facing a lot of stress, picking new investment, whereby there's a lot of uncertainty